The lodge room had emptied for the evening. The chairs were back in their places, the lights were dimmed, and the last echoes of conversation had faded down the stairway. Only 2 men remained near the entrance, a younger brother, still new enough to feel the weight of every word he had heard in lodge, and the old Tyler, who sat quietly by the door as though he had been guarding more than a threshold.
Can I ask you something?
A brother may always ask.
I've been a Mason for a little while now. I know the passwords I'm supposed to know. I've learned enough ritual to get through the evening without embarrassing myself. But I still feel like I don't really know what a Mason is.
That is a better question than you know.
Some people outside the lodge think Masonry is secretive. Some think it's just a social club. Some think it's a religion. Some think it's about titles, aprons, dinners, and ceremonies. What is it? What is a Mason?
A Mason is not made by a ring, an apron, a dues card, or a title. Those things may belong to Masonry, but they are not Masonry. A man may wear the emblem and still miss the lesson. Another man may speak little, wear nothing grand, and yet carry the craft in his heart. Masonry is not a religion. It does not tell a man how he must worship, what church he must attend, or what name he must give to God. But it does ask that a man believe there is something greater than himself. It asks him to kneel with humility, rise with responsibility, and walk as though his actions are seen by heaven.
So it is moral, but not sectarian.
That is one way to say it. A Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddhist, and men of other faiths may meet in lodge, not because they agree on every doctrine, but because they agree that truth, honor, mercy, and brotherhood matter. Masonry does not erase their differences. It teaches them how to stand together despite them.
Then is it a philosophy?
It has philosophy in it, but if you call it only a philosophy, you make it smaller than it is. Masonry is a school, but not only a school. It is a brotherhood, but not only a brotherhood. It is a discipline, but not only a discipline. It is charity, but not only charity. It is symbolism, history, fellowship, service, memory, obligation, and hope. Try to trap it in one sentence, and you will leave half of it outside.
That sounds like avoiding the answer.
No, it is respecting the size of the answer. A Mason is a builder, not merely of buildings, but of himself. He takes the rough material he was born with, his temper, pride, fear, ignorance, selfishness, impatience, and he works on it. He does not pretend the stone is already perfect. He measures, squares, smooths, and tries again.
So Masonry is self-improvement.
Yes, but not self-improvement for vanity. A Mason improves himself, so he may be useful to others. A polished stone does not exist for its own admiration. It belongs in a wall, a temple, a shelter, a place where others may find strength.
Then why all the symbols?
Because symbols stay with a man after speeches are forgotten. A rule, a square, a level, a plumb, these are simple things, yet they ask hard questions. Are you fair? Are you upright? Do you meet others as equals? Do you build straight when no one is watching? A lecture may fade, but a symbol can follow a man into his work, his home, his friendships, and his conscience.
That is harder than memorizing words.
Much harder. Any man with a good memory can repeat a lesson. A Mason must live one.
Then there must be very few Masons.
There are many members. There are fewer Masons. But every member has the chance to become one.
How?
By doing the ordinary things nobly, by speaking truth when a lie would be convenient, by holding his tongue when gossip would be entertaining, by helping a brother without needing applause, by remembering the widow, the orphan, the lonely, the sick, and the forgotten, by disagreeing without hatred, by keeping faith when keeping faith costs him something, by seeing a man not as his politics, his money, his job, or his station, but as a brother standing on the same level.
The lodge was silent. The words had settled into the room like light on polished wood, and for a moment neither man needed to speak.
At its deepest, a Mason is a man who has learned that life is not about standing above others, but standing beside them. He is a man who believes that character can be built, that mercy is stronger than pride, that faith is more than words, and that brotherhood is not a slogan, but a duty.
So a Mason is not someone who has simply received degrees?
No, a Mason is someone in whom the degrees have begun their work.
And when does that work end?
When the final stone is set, my brother, until then we keep building.
The two brothers stood together at the threshold. Behind them the lodge glowed with memory and meaning. Ahead of them waited the world, where the true work of masonry would continue.